The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
You know, people need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism because it's clear that it's being coordinated. People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
Shalom. Salama. Siemi. Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you are the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. My, Gentiles. We said something about this, and now they are going after their own. See, that's what ends up happening when you're racing to isolation. And I would say, I was thinking towards isolation. No, you're racing to isolation. The reality is this. When I heard about this story yesterday, I was with my colleagues and we were talking, and some of the folks thought that the person that had been shot was a black female, a person of color of some sorts, how they want to label. But in the back of my mind, I was like, no, this person is probably white, Caucasian, YT, palm colored, however you want to call it. And this person probably did not think that they would be the target or be targeted for extermination. Because this society has labeled and pushed the construct and the narrative that's the golden calf. It's the golden calf, all right, until you see the horrific videos on X. And I can't show them. It's really disturbing. You see the horrific videos and pictures and images, the imagery of them going after their own. That was the final moments of that woman's life. The reality is, for African Americans, for the Yahudim, for Israelites, we know who we are. And because we know who we are, we have been explaining that those that have cursed us, they shall be cursed. Now, looking at the full video, there are issues all around. But see, what I look at and what I see in this video, going to the prelude of activities before the actions that had occurred, this is what they wanted for over policing in America. Do you see the trap that they fell into? No, see, everything was fine as long as you're doing these actions right here to black folks. Everything is fine as long as these deletions are not happening to us, but are happening to other folks. You know, as I was talking to Brother Garth yesterday. I said we are now we're now at a level. This isn't even a 15-hour or 12-hour. This is now a 6-hour news cycle and less. They're dramatically turning up the tailspin because when you go to bed, you don't even know what you're going to be waking up to. Talk about a tremendous psychological operation that is happening not just to us here in the United States, but also around the world. Do you know what's going to happen next? I don't know. Greenland said they're not going to sell, they're not going to give in over their dead body. Trump's like, okay, all right, I can make that happen. All right. They said dead body. Okay. Sounds good to me. Yesterday, I wrapped up the program and I said, we don't know what's getting ready to happen in these next 24 hours. And they went and they did it. These folks done boarded and seized a Russian flag vessel. That's an act of war. Here's the reality of this for my brothers and sisters on out here, for those that have ears to hear and eyes to see. We're at war, but they're not going to tell you that we're at war because they're not going to spread panic. Because remember, the way that white supremacy works, and this is what it is, ignorance is bliss. If we were at war, they would tell us. Okay. But then on that same account, in that same measure, then they judge other people harshly. Well, why didn't you know? You should have told. That was obvious. Everybody in the whole world knew it. They have to be careful because by their same measure, they're going to be judged. And they're being judged right now. These folks are at war externally and internally. Well, they never declared war. I don't believe they're at war. No, no. If we're at war, they'd say that we're at war. The hypocrisy game, the vain imagination, as the word describes it, perfectly fits us to a T. Vain imagination. Don't believe what you see with your own eyes. Like we knew that this whole ICE debacle situation, like it was not going to turn deadly. We knew. They couldn't pew pew us. So they literally started to turn, as Brother Rojo would say, the Snickers bars and their Kit Kats and hit themselves with the Skittles so they could taste at least the strawberry portion of the rainbow. If you understand these lemon drops. Know what I mean, Vern? And we kept saying this is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, no, it's never going to happen. And now they're freaking out. Now they're waiting for retaliation from Russia. And they're waiting for retaliation from Venezuela. So now when you're freaking out and panicking, guess what you're going to start to do? Are you going to naturally calm down? No. You're going to freak out and panic some more. They've totally lost control. Now all of a sudden this week exactly woke Yosu. Ernest P. Worrell. Know what I mean? Oh. So now when you're panicked, not only are you going to board vessels that are flagged under Russian flags, which means that's a Russian ship, which means that that is Russian sovereignty. I don't care who you are. I don't care what goes on. Look, vessels change flags all the time. And those flags get changed, and that's simply just for regular things within shipping. And namely, it's more because of insurance and things of that nature. You have a better insurance rate here, or you're insured there. The country says, hey, I'm just going to insure this. That's the cost. That's a loss. And again, the US had its sidekick, the UK, in on the action. So now, two targets have been painted. Oh, also, they're also getting ready to ramp up in Ukraine. Didn't see that happen 4 years later. I told you all it was going to take them a couple of years to ramp up to respond. I thought it was actually going to be during the first year. I kind of figured during the Biden year they weren't going to respond via the Biden year. Everything via the Biden year was to ensure that you had the proper, quote unquote, proper mechanisms that supported the wartime environment, i.e., making sure that the draft rules and conditions were looked at or reimposed. Excuse me. So, all of the administrative changes under the Biden administration is now set to go into effect. Because why? Because everything was done to ensure that come this presidency, this new change in leadership, this new face, this new wing, or the different wing on the same bird, is now ready to go. To me, I actually wondered what was so critical. What was that vessel carrying that was so critical? What was the marinara carrying? That they were literally up in almost basically freezing waters between Iceland and the British Isles to have that interdiction of the vessel borne search and seizure. And I don't know if people really appreciate it. And I don't think people really do actually appreciate this. That's a lot of coordination on a lot of levels through a lot of elements in the government. At best, whenever you're doing any type of a VBSS or vehicle or a vessel borne search and seizure, you're coordinating with at least 15 elements within the federal government, at least. And a couple more elements within the international constructs to make sure that there's no violation of international norms or rules or anything else, because people are striving to maintain rules based order, which is not happening anymore. And that rules based order is now something that I'm getting emails now all around the world asking, what do people do? What's happening? Why is it happening? Exactly, daughter of Yah. Things are heating up quickly. I woke up this morning and I saw this. I'm like, wait a second. Let me make sure that I'm seeing this correctly. Because it first came on some of the Indian um, channels. Not to say anything bad. It's just that sometimes, they're a little too exuberant in certain measures, and it's like, is that actually real? A lot of the stuff that's actually going on in YouTube is very, very AI digitized, all that other good stuff. So the reason I talk like this is because AI cannot imitate the original. I think I showed you all that, my little AI video I had made. I'm sure since I made that video almost 2 years ago, I'm sure that right now AI has gotten tremendously better, and it has shown that sometimes you just have to look and see, like, wow, what is it that is what's really going on? And yeah, first post is on it. And times of India, one India is a little shaky to me. And Hindustan Times. Man, Pastor Rick, he says word on the street is that Venezuela was able to transfer 1,200 tons of gold and silver in addition to $10 billion of assets to Russia and China. Has this been verified? I am trying to figure that one out. I was telling you all that. Now, in terms of the 1,200 tons of gold and silver and the $10 billion, those type of figures, I cannot verify that. That would be more than likely very, very speculative. But the reality is that you're starting to see that people are moving their funds. They knew what was going on. They understood this spycraft. This is why literally Putin was saying they're done with talking now. You all understand what has happened. I want to give you all this rundown and why you're seeing what you're seeing right now. Yeah, Minister Rick, he says I read they flew the silver out. Yep, not with Maduro. Russia and China flew the silver out, which makes sense because again, you have a precedent that happened with Burkina Faso. They flew out their gold just to make sure that they had a nice little nest egg to go to just in case any funny business happened. Oh, I didn't hear this, daughter, y'all. She's saying that, and China threatened the USA this week with their hydrogen bomb. They said USA may get the first shot, but not the second shot. Wow. Wow. What? Cynthia says, message to the Orange Grinch, you got to be quicker than that. I wonder if it was that what the Geico commercial where they had the little dollar on the fishing pole. Almost there, almost. But let me get in. Let me get into this. This is from Reuters. I put the article there in the chat. U.S. will exit 66 international organizations as it further retreats from global cooperation. Oh my goodness. When I saw that, all I could think of was, Jacoba, what are they talking about 66 and ordered 66? Global cooperation. What they're are you telling me that the US is rebelling from the empire? Come on. Did they enact their order 66 to rebel from the empire? As we analyze this and see this road to war, You literally had, you can't make this up. Remember Trump and plausible deniability? Oh, I was in the meeting with Zelensky and I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about how Putin's house caught on fire. They Russia intentionally spoofed Putin's phone call. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with PBX exchanges and other different phone mechanisms. I'm not going to get too in depth with that because I feel I don't really want to go to jail. I just don't. But there are different things on out there that, well, let's just say what Russia did was show their capabilities. And when Russia showed its capability, what that does is that it shows what you are capable of in the level that they have to guard against themselves. Oh, you can do that? That means I have to do this. And they passed that information along to the United States. And it was purported, that's what I say purported, that the CIA did inform Trump that they were going to do that action. So the CIA, in effect, threw Trump under the bus. Trump's trying to say, I don't know anything about this. It's a whole bunch of crazy. So now, hey, well, guess what? The gloves are off. They already know. This whole charade is, the gig is up. Cue the interdiction yesterday. Oh, and now it's, hey, we already know everything was illegal. So guess what? The U.S. will exit 66 international organizations as it further retreats from global cooperation. The United States is turning into a pariah state. Right in front of our eyes. Man, that was quick. I mean, technically speaking, it was already there. They're just now actually admitting it. Let's just be truthful and honest here. I like to be truthful and honest. Washington. This is from Matthew Lee and Farnoosh Amari or Emery. This is as of yesterday, last night, January 7th. The Trump administration will withdraw from dozens of international organizations, including the UN's Population Agency and the UN Treaty that establishes international climate negotiations. As the U.S. further retreats from global cooperation, President Donald Trump on Wednesday signed an executive order suspending U.S. support for 66 organizations, agencies, and commissions following his administration's review of participation and funding for all international organizations, including those affiliated with the United Nations. Many of the targets are UN-related agencies, commissions, and advisory panels that focus on climate, labor, migration, and other issues that the Trump administration has categorized as catering to diversity and woke initiatives. No. What it was is that, remember, this year, and we went over this last week on this channel, part of the UN's agenda was for restorative measures and international justice, which was a direct attack on the United States. Now, all the United States is doing is playing right into the hands because why? Because the guilty, they run. And not just when they run, they start kicking stuff on over and they start smashing things and, it's not fair. They start to throw a tantrum. This is the tantrum. Wait, hold on. I thought you're all about justice and equality. No, they understood what this was leading to. They understood what this was being framed to create. You want to know about your reparations and how reparations was getting ready to be established? Just like this. And they wanted to cut that off. And they're saying, you know what? We're out of here because I'm not going to give not one single cent of anything restorative justice, anything. This is why they're rebelling. Because why? Because now the nations are calling for restitution. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Here it goes. Now they have created the environment through the UN, which is now going to funnel down to the African Union. And it's going to say, hey, if you don't want to cooperate with any of these organizations, any of these initiatives, then we're not going to cooperate with you in trade. Everything that they're doing is steadily, I'm not going to say steadily, it's enhancing de-dollarization. Every move that they make, America gets poorer. And people don't understand that this is the prelude to poor. How did our nation get so poor all of a sudden? I don't know. Gee, I don't know. We were doing okay last year, not the greatest. Hey, are we going to be able to fulfill those international orders? Nope. They canceled the contracts. Isn't that what China just did with the oil, with the energy? Now silver is literally off the table. What other things are off the table? What? Burkina Faso said, we ain't doing no more chicken. I'm glad that they're doing that because I'm like, dang. Do you really trust the chicken from the United States? Oh my goodness. I have to pray over my food just to make sure it wasn't 3D printed chicken. Now you're starting to see, and oh, by the way, doesn't it see that these nations that they burn this whore with fire? They burn the harlot with fire. Oh, all of a sudden I can't see that happen. They would never until they do. The only thing that we could do is just look in pure astonishment and amazement because it's coming and it's happening and they're telling you to your face. I didn't realize how quickly this would be. In less than a week, they basically said to the rest of the world, forget y'all. They cut themselves off. What does that mean? They can't drink that cup anymore. They can't drink that cup of wrath. Cindy Lou, thank you for the gift. Hallelujah. Cindy Lou, you stayed in. Said, Karis, is the judges on the Maduro case one of the appointed, the one of the ones, or the case one of the appointed from Trump's first presidency run? Remember, he appointed all those judges. Um, in the Southern District of New York, I'm not sure that he had appointed the judges there yet. He may have. He may have already swapped everybody on out. And I would say that that's highly probable because, again, if you are taking somebody to a kangaroo court where you want to make sure that you have the judge in your pocket, right? I mean, that just makes the most sense to me, at least. Yep, behold, they hold themselves not guilty. Now that look, that worked on us. They can use that model on us. They're not going to use that model for the YT lady, the palm colored lady that they done killed it. They murdered her in cold blood. And you know the worst part about that? The worst part about it, they had zero remorse. The worst part about that, nobody even checked on her. She was just dangling in her seatbelt, slumped on the armrest as the car was mangled across a telephone pole in the snow. And the passenger door all open to show the sacrifice that they provided. Yeah, this is their George Floyd moment. You're absolutely right, Brother Garth. This is their George Floyd moment. Brother Eric, yes, he demands loyalty. Of course, number 47 puts his subjects in place. Yep. I told you it's getting real out here. If I come on here, I'm going to have to use several VPNs. This is Pirate YouTube channel, Covenant Awakenings, live from an undisclosed location. The Karis, why do you sound like you have an Eastern European accent? They're going into isolation. Let me tell you this, isolation is never good. That's actually a wartime footing that people don't realize. It's a wartime footing. Now you better believe it, Garth. Garth says now it makes sense why he had the military meeting in October with all those generals. Palpatine had to gather the Imperial stormtroopers. Absolutely. And Sister Bonnie saying ICE wouldn't allow anyone to check on that lady, doctors, paramedics, etc. Nope, they cordoned her, and they wanted people to see the sacrifice. Jerry J0. This literally happened on that very street where George was murdered, just a matter of blocks. And he gives the expletive. Damnation. Daughter of Yah, thank you, Brother Karras. Their judgment is coming on them, and they know it. No escape. No, they don't have any escape, and that's why you're seeing a lot of their visas are now being suspended or not honored to get into other countries. They've become isolationist. So now we're here at a time, no more international rule of law, because why? They're getting out of this because why? They don't want to be held accountable. They're boarding now Russian ships, and the next one is going to be a Chinese ship. They've already done all that, but they're going to do it with more bravado, I would say. And the Russians had stated, look, they are looking at using not just submarines, but other armaments. Their gig is up. I would imagine and suspect that you're going to have a lot more people submitting their resignation, because now people are going to start to understand that in this regime, people are like, oh, they'll never go to war with the United States. Yeah, right. Oh, that's going to happen. You're telling me that they'll have an ICC, ICJ warrant on Trump? That'll never happen. Yeah, right. Watch it happen. They'll never take the president. Watch it happen. Everybody that says it's never, never, never. And then when it happens, oh boy. For all those coming into the chat, I know Sister Chantel was asking what happened. They done did it. They done iced a palm colored woman's in cold blood. Cold blood. You had a lot of protesters on out there. A lot of protests happening yesterday. And this is what they want to do. They want to get the civil unrest started. This is her right there. Let me. You had here video. I'm not going to show you all the video. But that's her body right there. Or excuse me, that's the airbag. That's the airbag. That's her vehicle. That's where she ended up. Her passenger door was open, slumped on over. They didn't even let her get immediate medical attention. And that's a long video. It was about 4 minutes. Somebody had captured 4-minute video. And here it is.
No! Shame! Shame! Oh my
I apologize for the language.
You are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane! What did you do? You! Shame! 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 Shame!
He said, call 911. He didn't even go check on her. Man, I'm telling you, that white on white crime. Oh, my goodness. He just walks away. He walked away like it was nothing. All right. I wonder how that pot roast is. Can't wait to get to it in the slow cooker. Wonder how the spices are going to taste. Can't wait to make that gravy. This is America right now. They could have disengaged, but you have to understand this is the tactics of law of the law. It's lawfare. We have been saying it, but now it's only something that they want to finally address because it happened with them. Let's just face it. It happened with them. She was pulling off, and guess what? They could have just disengaged. Okay, just let her go. They could have responded and radioed in other police officers that were in the area. Hey, we have a sensitive area. This vehicle took off, and we're going to let the local police department handle it. The reality is there was no reason to delete her. But are there rarely any reasons that were deleted? They're just seeing what it is that we've gone through. If they're supposed to be executing an immigration enforcement order, why are there no Minneapolis PD? Can anybody tell me? Those are all federal unmarked vehicles. I know. They're all up here in Tampa. They do the same thing. They're just doing it at night. Why do they not have marked Minneapolis Metropolitan Police Department vehicles, squad cars? Hey, you do your job of executing this immigration order, and we will maintain public safety. Actually, what they did, they broke the law. But again, what's law? Law is only designed for us, not for them. Now, behold, they hold themselves not guilty. That's not going to work in this case. I don't care how many terrorisms they want to throw this around. It's not going to work in their case. All they're going to see here and all they're going to show is the face of this woman whose life was ended. Because generally speaking, they wouldn't do that. That would be the worst. That's unfathomable in their community. Not today. Shoot first, ask questions later. And yes, brother Daryl, just like the Civil War movie, what type of an American are you? Yes, brother Asaf, we said that also. Thank you for the gift. You cannot make up a story, make up as a story what is being played out. The UK was involved in the Russian shipboarding. What is happening is shocking. Now they have resorted to sacrificing their own. They have. And yes, Pastor Rick Fletcher. Yeah, that Civil War is brewing. Internal and external conflict. Why? Because the distraction is real. We would have healed Babylon, but she refused to be healed. She didn't want that balm. She didn't want that ointment. Matter of fact, she said, "Leave me alone. I want to be more isolated." Yes, Brother Ivan says it's only unfathomable until they are caught in the act. And yes, now they're caught. Now they're caught. The mayor said something. The governor said something. These are the times that we are in. As I say to all of my Israelite listeners and Gentile listeners, for the very few that are listening, please be aware and on guard of your situation. Yeah, I think, yeah, that could be said. That's another angle. You said all this to protect what we already know in those Epstein tapes. That is true. Yeah, this person is this police or this ICE agent is in trouble. They'll hide him. They'll hide him. They'll protect him. Let's say, whatever. Collateral damage. No big deal. The reality is that no, this is a big deal. Not really for us, but it is for them. And it's not to be that it's, heartless or, not have the compassion. But it's one of those things. Hey, we told you this. We warned you of this. See, it was fine and dandy when it was just black folks. Excuse me. If it was just us, that's fine and dandy. But we said this. Look, if you're not doing anything in righteousness, that wickedness will spread because wicked begets more wickedness. And now the nations are realizing and they're turning from this system. And the funny thing is that it's actually the system turning from these nations. Babylon, you don't love us anymore? Nope. We're not funding anything. Uh-oh. A far left militia group is heading to Minnesota. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is about to be interesting. What a day. What an hour. As I had stated, family, I don't know how much longer I will be on here before they just totally shut this channel down. I think I do a pretty good job of being, fair, balanced, objective, and scripturally astute. Thank you. Be not deceived for the gift. Hallelujah. I think they'll probably just shut the power down, as Garth is saying, because they got to keep everything distracted up until a certain point. But all I can tell you is, as I have stated, don't worry about what it is that we say. We know that the Most High is moving, but understand the actions that they do so you can see how close we are to the end of this race, how close we are to the end of this captivity. And no, Minister Rick, nope, you couldn't write this stuff in comic books. You really could not. Oh, we haven't even talked about Iran. Look, if I'm going to tell you all this, today is Thursday. Again, I'll be off tomorrow. I may jump on QTWA. Looks like I'm going to be on. I'll do QTWA tomorrow. I will do QTWA tomorrow. I'm going to make that commitment. So join me tomorrow at, I'm going to say 6:45 over on the QTWA channel, 6:45, because we're going to talk because a lot of things are going down on the continent as we speak. Oh, I do believe that they're going to try to, in my opinion, just my opinion, and what I've been seeing, what I've been reading, those C-17s that they have parked on over there in the UK, It's not going to take like a 6-month buildup like they did the last time. They've already executed the action. So now, instead of 6 months, you now only need 6 days because you've already rehearsed it. You literally did the rendition. So now it's just carrying on out the mission. I'm gonna say this. It also all depends on how Iran quells the protesters within the next couple of hours. This is a very interesting next couple of days. So again, family, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your prayers. Most High willing, I'll see you all on Monday, unless things pop off and I have to jump back on again. But boy, oh boy, what a time we are living in. But I'm going to tell you this, remember to stay encouraged and remember to understand that we're covered under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. We are Yahuwah's elect. Don't be scared, be encouraged. Because I'm going to just tell you, Jacob's not a prophet, but he's a prophetic resource, and he's going to have some things to explain with them 66 international them 66 international agreements that are no longer Order 66, Jacoba. All right, family. With that, shalom, salama, sieme, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.